Buenos dias to all the fine folks out there tuning in to the home of boxing on YouTube, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. It is yours truly, BT, Brennan Taylor. Hope all is well as you guys are kicking off your day or wherever you're at in the world. But we got a couple of things to discuss in this video as I start my day because you got Devin Haney, Liam Paro, that apparently has fell through. These fighters are really turning Devin Haney into Debo. So we're going to discuss that. But let's start with Devin Haney. Devin Haney, right? Because it started off as a joke. When they first was running around, Devin Haney fan base here on YouTube and on Twitter, when they was first running around, calling Devin Haney Deebo, I started chuckling. I started laughing. But I'm not laughing anymore because all Devin Haney has done since he became Deebo is just step harder, with more authority to his contemporaries, right? From first it was Brian Norman Jr., who at the time you could argue was the best welterweight in a weak welterweight division, of course, but the best welterweight in the division at that time. Beat him. Then he turned around and he tried to fight Keyshawn Davis, a guy that a lot of us didn't think he would fight because of the fact that Keyshawn Davis is good and can beat him and does have the tools and does have the pedigree to give Devin Haney some fits, but it wouldn't pay out as much money as other fights. He made that fight. It literally went to purse bid. They had a whole purse bid situation where Gustavo Olivieri, the president of the WBO, had the damn envelopes and they were streaming the purse bid. So then that fight fell through because Keyshawn Davis, when it came down to it, when the moment came and the rubber met the road, he ain't really believe in himself. And, he thought he was worth, a lot more than he really was. Far above market value. So he went another direction. Shakur Stevenson doesn't want to fight anyone, He's not eager to fight anyone right now. He's got paid a hefty amount of money from Zuma Boxing. Devin Haney's a fight that he doesn't want to concede any advantages to, and I get it. So he's trying to get Devin Haney to come down to 144 pounds, and that is why they're not fighting, because Shakur Stevenson feels like it's not the right time, and that's his prerogative, but it don't mean that we can't critique it and call it for what it is when there's many articles and things he said in the past that shows that he's contradicting what he said, and he's still not fighting with Shockey Foster. So therefore, Shakur Stevenson is helping to turn Devin Haney to Deebo. Now, I apologize if I'm being a bit long-winded, but I'm trying to set the stage for you guys. I'm trying to paint the vividest picture for you guys of this moment in time where we're at, so that when people come watch this video 20 years from now, they understand that what the hell was going on August 9th, 2026 at 10:49 Eastern Standard Time, when I was talking about Devin Haney, Deebo Dev, and the welterweight division, and these guys not being eager to fight him, because it is quite mind-boggling. It is quite perplexing. Devin Haney's a good, he's got some decent little pop at 47. I think he's filled out better there, but he's not, he's not really no murderous puncher. He's not George Foreman. He's not Ike Corte. He's not them kind of guys. He ain't like Eric Morales was in the lighter weight categories. He's not punching to that degree for these fighters to be tucking their tail and acting so damn scary. So, is what is it? What is it about Devin Haney that has these guys so frustrated to take and so beside themselves to take the fight? Is it the boxing skills? Is he punching way harder than we can see on tape? What is it about him? Is it the speed? Is it the footwork? What is it about Devin Haney that has these guys so reluctant to fight? Because Liam Paro, I was so sure. I said, okay, Keyshawn didn't take the fight. We know Keyshawn, with respect to him, we know he's got a few screws loose and sometimes he can't see reality. So, it was surprising and it was disappointing. It was disappointing, but it wasn't like the most surprising, right? He had kind of showed his hand on some Instagram lives in the days leading up to the decisions to not fight Devin Haney. So it wasn't the most surprising. Shakur, okay, we know Shakur right now he's on his high horse right now, right? But I was so sure that when we got to Liam Paro, I was like, okay, the buck stops here. Devin will just unify against Liam Paro, and that'll be a good fight. Liam Paro's been a guy in his career. He fought Hitchens. He fought Super Matias and beat Super Matias, so no one was trying to fight him. So surely, Devin Haney isn't gonna, he's not gonna slip through the fingertips of Liam Paro, right? Wrong. Devin Haney and Liam Paro broke down because No Limit Boxing and Liam Paro, they wanted way too much damn money to fight. And so now we continue to go down the list, and I'm very disappointed. I did not expect that from Liam Paro. He's a true fighter. He's a guy that's taking on tough competition, but it's like, damn, y'all. It's not the fans anymore. It's not the fans. It's not the fans. It's not the fanboys. It's the fighters. It's Devin Haney's contemporaries that are giving the Deebo nickname validity. Now, inevitably, we will find out if Devin Haney's just lowballing everybody and he's not being fair in the negotiations. However, we know the numbers were for Keyshawn Davis. That was fair, right? But eventually, Devin Haney's gonna have to fight somebody, and we're getting to a point now where I think now there are two guys that will fight him. And are they the biggest names? No. And that's exactly why I think they'll fight him. They don't have the leverage. They don't have the big names. And those two guys are as follows. I think number one, first and foremost, you got Jack Catterall, who's Devin Haney's mandatory challenger. Jack Catterall, he's been starving for a big fight for a long time. And he's got a good resume. He's beaten Josh Taylor. He's beaten Regis Prograis. He's beaten, all kinds of really good fighters. You could say and argue, oh, this guy was past it. This guy wasn't that good, and you could downplay his resume like you could do with anybody in boxing. But Jack Catterall is an underrated fighter. I feel like people don't give Jack Catterall all the credit he deserves. He's a good fighter. He just beat Guillochau. He beat Ikal Esserman. He beat he lost to Arnold Barbosa Jr. But he has a solid resume. He's a solid fighter, right? So it'll suffice for now because these guys don't want to fight Devin Haney. I have no reason to believe that Jack Catterall wouldn't fight Devin Haney because he doesn't have a world title like Liam Paro. He's 33. The time is now for a big fight. He's been a professional for 14 years now, since 2012. It's taken him a long time. I think Jack Catterall will fight Devin Haney, and Jack Catterall has already said as much that he's accepted the fight with Devin, and he's heard nothing since. So, if Devin doesn't fight Jack Catterall, I don't think this time it'll be because of the opponent. I think it'll be because of Devin. Because Jack Catterall has some similarities to a guy that you could argue in the past Devin Haney avoided and didn't want to fight because he didn't want to put up his own money for the fight, and that was Sandor Martin. Sandor Martin, slick, crafty southpaw, not the biggest name, higher risk, low reward. Jack Catterall fits kind of the same description. Crafty southpaw, very experienced, not the biggest name, not the biggest money. Higher risk, low reward. So if Devin actually fought Catterall, I'll give him a lot of credit, because Devin's in the prime of his career, and to fight a guy like Catterall, it's like, people could say it's a waste of time, but I'm like, no, you're being a champion. You're being a true champion. You're fighting your mandatory. You're fighting a guy that really and truthfully is high risk, low reward. So you have him, and then you have Tiger Johnson, right? And I'm gonna advocate for this fight with Tiger Johnson because I believe that they are in litigation or they're in court for what happened earlier in the year when Tiger Johnson got jumped by Devin Haney's people, right? And Tiger Johnson is accepting that fight. That fight is not even about money. You could tell just by his whole demeanor, unless he's a great actor, you can tell by his demeanor that fight is not about boxing. He really feels disrespected as a man for what happened, so much so to the point where he's still posting videos about it all these months later, still angry about it, still pissed off, still willing to want to prove his point to Devin Haney that, hey, what you did was really fucked up, and as a man, you got to come see me about my respect. I don't play about my respect. You understand? So all I'm saying is pass that paperwork to Tiger Johnson. If for whatever reason the Jack Catterall fight doesn't happen, pass that paperwork to Tiger Johnson. He's ready to fight. He was ready to fight yesterday, 2 months ago, 2 hours ago. Pass that paperwork to Tiger Johnson because These are the guys in the division. The champions, they want a fortune. They want to be able to buy a condo in Waikiki. They want to be able to buy a condo in Okinawa, Japan. They want to be able to buy a condo in the Venetian Islands in Miami after they fight Devin. Because if they can't buy these condos, if they can't buy, something proper for themselves after fighting Debo, Devin Haney, then what's the point? What's the point of it all? That's the champions. That's what the champions and what like Keyshawn Davis have shown me about Devin Haney is that unless they make the kind of money to where they can buy themselves a whole 33-story or a 100-foot building in New York City, or some sort of luxurious house on the island somewhere in Miami or Hawaii or Okinawa, Japan, or some shit like that. Like that's what I've learned. I've learned that unless they're getting a fortune to fight Devin Haney, they're not going to fight Devin Haney. So it's just a sad state of affairs, and fighters are literally ruining the reputation right now, not fighting Devin Haney. And I'm not here to cape for Devin Haney. Eventually, if he doesn't make a fight happen soon, I'm gonna have some serious questions about him. But right now, it's not looking so good. It's not looking so hot on his contemporary. So send Tiger Johnson that paperwork, because that will let me know the truth. If Tiger Johnson doesn't fight Devin Haney, then that'll mean that all this time he was just doing a whole lot of talking and that he wasn't really about that action. But I don't think that's the case. I think Tiger Johnson really and truthfully is pissed off, has legitimate anger, as you should be. You got jumped and you got the crap kicked out of you, and it's on camera and everything. So I mean that will hurt a man's pride, especially a man's man, because when you're a fighter, you're supposed to be a man. You're a man's man. You're in the ring. You fuck people up for a living. So that being said, you're gonna be a bit of a man's man, and he wants to come see Devin Haney about his respect. And not just that, he also, at the same time, it is still boxing. He wants to also show the world that he's a great fighter, and that the boxing world has been sleeping on him for a long time. So, like I said, pass Tiger Johnson that paperwork, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it ain't the media no more. It ain't the media. It ain't Devin Haney's little fanboys. No, it's the fighters that are turning Devin Haney into Deebo. And that being said, Devin Haney is in a great position. People are talking good about him. He's coming off of a great win. It's probably the best situation his career has ever been in his whole at any point, even when he was undisputed. Because, like I said, it's to a point now where it's like, even if people don't like necessarily watching Devin Haney's style, they recognize that, hey, okay, I don't like his style. I don't like certain things about him, but this is a guy that'll fight anybody. And he's shown that he's willing, ready, and able many times in his career to do so. So I respect him. And that's kind of the plight and the climate of a lot of people in the fight game right now about Devin Haney. So we know things change, but I would say if you consider where his career was, let's say a year ago at this time, Devin Haney was getting ready to fight Brian Norman Jr. A lot of people, myself included, wrote him off. Right? And he won. He won a fight that some people didn't think he'd win, and show that he's not dead and gone. He's not buried. And look, a year later, now he's looked at to be the best welterweight in the world, and guys don't want to fight him. So it goes to show you, to all the fighters out there, to anybody in life beyond just boxing, if you stick with anything long enough, Devin Haney's career over the last year and a half is an example that, hey, brighter days are ahead if you stick to the plan and if you stick to what you got and what you believe in, your convictions in life. So thank you for listening to my ramblings, guys, my morning ramblings about Deebo Devin Haney and the plight of his career right now. And just a wag of my finger to Liam Paro. I can't believe Liam Paro, of all people, turned down the Devin Haney fight. No Limit Boxing, who's normally pretty good, dropped the ball with the negotiation. They can always circle back, but right now it's disappointing. And my thing is, okay, Devin, if you really want to fight, Jack Catterall, Tiger Johnson, these are two guys that are more than willing and ready and able to fight you. You understand? So make them a fair offer, and I'm sure one of them will accept, especially Tiger, and we'll get some great fights.